So we are continuing with the aftermath of I Did It My Way, the book that was recently launched by Mr. Rajalal. Uh, I asked him a couple of very uh, deep-rooted, heartfelt questions about what would certain individuals who have been a part of his life would feel when they read the book and they had the book in their hands. I would now move to another question that take 30 seconds and imagine if your mother was alive and you gave her that book and she read that because she was a very well-read lady. Once she will read that book, what will she say to you? Apart from being proud, she would be super proud, I think.
Father ka to I think we did it earlier.
We covered it
in the last episode. As far as mother is concerned, what you asked me is how would she feel? I think that's a question which is easily answerable. The kind of love and affection that she gave me. Though I would say, Asim, you know what, in the early years, I have to admit something. In my earlier years as a child, my mother had no time for me, for us, for both of us, both of my brother and me. They were so busy with their own social life and socializing, and my father was fond of the good life and parties and races and gambling and all the other things. So my mother was always a part of that, and she forced herself to be a part of it. She, being a Jew, she never knew what is gambling, never knew what is partying or socializing, because they led a very complacent and very below the radar life, a very simple life. But being Punjabi, you know how they are very flamboyant and, you know, amdani athani kharcha rupaya, they were flamboyant, spent more than they earned. She had to make this change of transition from being a Jewish girl into a Punjabi housewife. And she converted herself so well into it and made all the changes according to my father's likes and dislikes, and followed it, learned to go to races, learned gambling, learned cards, learned to be a good hostess. All these things she picked up because of my father. And they merged into one. And she handled him beautifully. He was a very short-tempered, angry kind of person. He should lose his temper on the drop of a hat. And she was a very calm person, and she used to take that, and only when he was calm, then she would really give it to him and make him understand her point of view. And that's how she converted him, eventually to a stage where he couldn't do without her. And that I saw how she did it, which was amazing. For a woman to learn how she should handle her husband's faults and convert them into a positive thing by handling the man. The man thinks he's in controlling his wife, he's boss, he's God. But the woman, if she's sensible, will eventually teach him that he's not God, he's just another human being, and she is the real controller. And she had controlled him so well eventually that if she says, I have a headache and I don't want to go to the races or want to go to the club for gambling or party, he would not go. He would not say, okay, you say it, I'm going. He would not go. It reached that stage, and I saw that as a child. But at the same time, because of her hectic social life, they didn't have time for us during our growing up days. And I had my second mother, my Bhabiji, my friend Mr. Bhalla's, which I mentioned in the book. I had two fathers and two mothers. I had Bhabiji with me, who was my real mother. And she used to take care of us when we came from school, feed us, see that we study, get up for our exams early morning at 5 o'clock, or dahi muh mein dalna, or, badam dena, all these things, or dahi shakar. These are all things that my Bhabiji did. My mother didn't do, because they were busy. It is the growing up years which my Bhabiji really brought us up, both of us. And it's only during the latter part of the years when I kind of rebelled against my father, is when my mother became a little more active and involved in our growing up process. And that's the time when we kind of bonded together. And at much later, after 17, 18 years, that's the time when my mother got really involved with me because of two reasons. One is my uncle, Mr. Bhalla, was there, Tayaji, who was a father to me, real father to me, whom I used to talk to, used to get pocket money from, and the real father, whom I loved, had got cancer and passed away. And 6 months after that, Babiji passed away. So then my mother took over the role of a mother, and she then took charge of our lives and carried us through till the day she was with me. She was with me for after my father's death for nearly 35 years. I took care of her. In the middle, she used to go to my brother Vinay in America. She used to stay with him for 6, 7 months, and when she fell sick there, and she had TB in America. TB in America is unknown.
It's very unheard of.
Unheard of, and they quarantined her and put her 6 months in a different room, anti-dose room, and they didn't know how to treat TB. And she shrunk and everything, and I left my work and I was there for 3-4 months with her. But my brother at that time really took care of her and looked after her very well. And then when she got over and we brought her back, after that she stayed continuously with me in Bombay. And then when I moved to Dubai in 2002 or 1, when I came, she joined me and she stayed with me till the day she passed away 8 years back. So that was my relationship with her. But even when I had my breakup of my 22-year-old relationship with my partner, which was a very painful and heartbreaking thing with her. What pained my partner at that time was, and she mentioned it, she says, after 22 years, your mother didn't even stand by me, she said. So, and that is what really hurt me, she said, because she took care of her very, very well, more than a mother. And I told her, this is recently when I met her and I had a conversation. She says, you know what I felt bad about? That I took care of your mother like my mother, but she sided you and you decided to break up. So I asked her one question. I said, if you were in my place and you broke up with me, would your mother stood by me or by you? She said, no, she would stand by me. I said, that's exactly what she did, because she had no other alternative. Because I was the only person there, and if she had gone against me, it is her own future and security. If she had gone against me, then she had nowhere else to go, except maybe to my brother. So she decided, and she knew I was wrong, what I was doing. But she didn't voice it even once, or didn't try to make me. She just told me, think about it before you do this. And I was blinded by my situation at that time, and I said, no. But there was a lot of things that were piling up in this whole relationship, breaking up after 22 years. Not only one, but there were a lot of other things involving my children, her children, everything else just piling up. And it came out in this form. And it was not a good thing that happened, which I regret even today until the day I die, that I lost the best woman I had ever in my life. And she's still there. She's very much there, very good friends. And we talk to each other. I meet her when I go to Bombay. But
did you read this book?
I gifted her that book.
What did you write?
I went to see her.
What did you write in your preface? I know you take your time.
I went to see her. I wrote a very special feeling on that book.
If we may ask.
And I took a video of it, of that book, of what she spoke and I spoke, which I haven't released to anybody, because she asked me, she says, don't put this on social media, but this is a very personal thing. And she didn't come for the opening also, because she said, I won't be able to take it. I won't be able to handle it. I'm too emotional. I know you've been asking me to come for the opening, for the launch. But she said, no, I will not come. But the morning of the launch, the day before, I went to her house and I wrote that note for her and I gifted and I took a picture with it and a video of it, which I have with me, and I will not release it, and as I promised her. But it was a very emotional note, and she actually had tears in her eyes and cried. And it's something.
If I may ask, did your ex-wife actually read this book?
I gave her a book. I sent her a book. I gave her, when she came to see my son in the hotel, I gave her the book. I had written also a very nice note about it. That what a wonderful mother she's been. And in spite of all the odds.
Both your sons.
Yeah, in spite of all the odds, in spite of everything that she did, she is basically still the mother of my children. And the way she's brought up her children single-handedly is commendable. And I told her, I'm proud of it that you've done a great job with them, except that if you had done a few things a little differently, probably the elder son would have turned out a little different, which is my regret. But she is what she is. And her comfort zone was, her insecurity was that she would lose the children if she had not tried to fill them with anti-me things. And that was her way of doing it. And I don't blame her for it, because that was the only support system she had, that she didn't want to lose her children to me. And I don't blame her for that, looking at it hindsight. At that time it looked very bad, but now I understand her feelings and situations. And she has nowhere else to turn to but her children.
But do you think if the Rajan Lal that I'm speaking to today understands these things, but 10 years before, if I spoke to Rajan in his 50s and 60s, he would still have the same comments?
I had very bitter feelings towards her. Very bitter feeling, because I've written in my book all the things that she tried to do to bring me down.
So despite of
which
that,
nobody does in their
the
life.
calmness in your voice today, what inspires that calmness?
You see, she had to do what she did. Like you had to do what you did. But it's how I reacted. Now, if I had reacted the same way that you did or she did, there would have been utter chaos. But she did certain things because she had her own thinking and reasoning, which you respect. I behaved in a certain manner, and I wanted to be with my children and bond with my children. But I said that if I force myself on trying to be with them and meet with them, it's only going to greet her with a lot of poison and revenge, and it would come out on the children. So I backed off. So I didn't see actually the growth of my children, growing up. Because there are a lot of single parents today whose parents have split. But the children are shared between the father and mother. They go to them. Even that was not allowed. And my mother, I remember, used to bring them secretly to my Pali Hill place, and I used to spend weekends with them, saying that they are spending the weekend with my grandmother. And that was my only connect with them. But if it was a little different, that she said, no, meet your father, whatever it is, differences are between you and me and my father, my husband. Why should the children suffer? What have they done wrong? So if she had thought that way, probably the children would have grown up a little more differently, and a little more till they realized and came of age and said that we need to know our father. We don't know our father. We know of our father what my mother has told you. But now I want to know, because they've come of age, they're thinking now. So they started thinking, and when they got to know their father, they realized that this is not the same father what we thought we were told. And then the result was that today both the children are with me. My younger son, Nikhil, is working with me. He's with me. He's handling the business. And we have a great relationship. And my elder son, who was an off and on relationship, it was a love and hate relationship with him, like me and my father had. The same situation has repeated itself. And now it's a love relationship.
You didn't break any badminton rackets on his back.
No, but I did a lot more. But on the hindsight, everything that then he said now, Dad, it was tough love. I wanted him to stand on his feet and be an independent success. And he's a very intelligent boy, and he's a street smart boy. I mean, this boy, I can guarantee you, cannot go hungry in life. He is a wheeler dealer. He knows how to make money. He knows how to. He's a fantastic talker like me. and he can sell coal to Newcastle.
Sir, one more thing. During this visit to Bombay, you met a lot of people whom you had some strange relationships with as well in the past. Did you bury all the hatchets, and has is that now water under the bridge, or there's still?
I don't think there was anybody in my evening that day whom I had a bad relationship with. Yes, my brother's ex-wife Kunika, she was there, and she came, and we are very cordial, and we still like each other, and we still have a great relationship together. Whatever happened, because I was the one who introduced him to Kunika, and he got married, and they had a son together, and everything. But she came, and we have a great relationship now, and she's now a besides an actress, she's now a very successful lawyer. And we had a lovely time together. It was a great meeting and everything. Other than that, I don't think there was anybody in that whole group with whom I had a bad relationship or
Your ex-wife never came.
She never came. She never came like the partner whom I was with, she never came. But it's understandable. I met them.
So I think it takes a lot of courage and a lot of guts to actually go and meet them and face them and give them the book and be as calm as you are now. That calmness that you have, how has that transpired, and what would you tell me, Asim? This is the source of my calmness, and if we want to follow the same trend to achieve this calmness, what should we do?
Tell me something. I mean, you I'm sure have done also a lot of things which you regret today, like we all have. What is the what do you call it, purpose of keeping those bad moments which you had with them in your life? It'll only make you feel bitter. It's better to just rub them off and let them be and let them out and move on in life. And I keep telling them, I said, move on in life.
But you don't have a lot of inner peace to let go of those things, to let go of that bitterness.
I think the bitterness that I've had with my father, with my wife, and with a few other people who have let me down also. Today, when I look back, I say I'm friends with all of them. And I said that was their karma, what they did, for whatever reasons they did. I said, why should I be bad with people who've been bad to me or cheated me or been backstabbed me? I still meet the friends who have cheated me, backstabbed me, and been bad to me. I still am best friends with them, and I meet them socially. And a lot of people ask me this question: how can you be friends with a person who has backstabbed you, or has cheated you, or has betrayed you? I said that is their karma, and up there, somebody will give them the judgment for what they've done. Why should I be the person? I'm nobody to judge people.
The inner peace is a reflection of whatever the circumstances were, and you have forgiven a lot of people for what they did, and the inner peace will only come once you have that forgiveness. Definitely.
Is there a better way to get into this peaceful or stress-free zone? No.
No, there's nothing.
There's no point in तुमने 25 साल पहले ये किया था, मैंने ऐसे जवाब दिया था. No, जो हो गया वो undo नहीं हो सकता.
We've all seen and learned from
I said, let's move on from there and be a better person. If you understand it now, fine. If you don't, good luck to you. That's all.
Well, thank you, sir. And with that, we come to the end of this video. There are a lot more facets and a lot more layers of what we need to talk about. Mr. Rajan Lal, I think, honestly speaking, that 600 pages do not encompass the personality that you are and that you have been and that you have blossomed into. And we need to explore this a lot more, with a lot of new things that are coming up, with a lot of new documentaries and things. So the journey is continuing.
Yes.
And we look forward to having much more now in-depth sessions with you about what next. And I would, in the next video, would ask him if he has to give his 10 best tips for us to improve our life, what would that be? So stay tuned for that. And with that, we are signing off. Thank you, Mr. Raj.
Thank you, Asim. Thank you so much for this podcast. Thank you.